Pilot Jim Ray demonstrates how this unique craft could be landed at his home site, and by folding the rotor blades, it could easily be stored in the family garage. The PA-22 was the first aircraft to introduce a special airmail service in 1935 from the roof of the new Philadelphia Post Office. The mail was transported from the Philadelphia facility to the Central Airport in Camden, a few miles across the Delaware River. As a result of renewed interest by the military, the PA-22 was flown to Washington to demonstrate its capabilities before a group of Army officials. The most impressive performance during this demonstration was its ability to land and take off in areas where no other aircraft could venture. Impressed by the PA-22's versatility, the Army purchased a larger direct-control Pitcairn PA-33, which was capable of speeds up to 150 miles per hour. Its ability to perform precise landings evoked the old cliche that it could land on a dime and give 5 cents change. The Department of Commerce also expressed an interest in the PA-33 autogyro and purchased a model designated the AC-35. As with past Pitcairn autogyros, the AC-35 became a familiar sight to the residents of our nation's capital. This revolutionary plane possessed the flight characteristics of the PA-22 autogyro, plus the ability to transfer power from the engine to the tail wheel. With its blades folded, it could be driven like a car. Steering was achieved through the front wheels. Pilot Jim Ray flew the modified version of the AC-35 from the Pitcairn field to Washington, D.C., where it landed on a lawn bordering Constitution Avenue. With blades folded, it was driven to the Department of Commerce building. Today, the AC-35 autogyro is on display in the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. In 1940, the Pitcairn autogyro, designated the PA-36 and named the Whirlwing, featured an important technological advancement, the jump takeoff. This was accomplished by setting the blades at 0 pitch while accelerating the rotor to 150% of the normal flight RPM. The pilot, by simultaneously releasing the brakes and rotor clutch, allowed the blades to assume an instant flight pitch by means of centrifugal force. Kinetic energy, thus stored in the whirling blades, lifted the autogyro vertically to a height of over 30 feet. At the peak of the ascent, with full power to the propeller, the plane entered a normal climbing attitude. As the war in Europe intensified, our military leaders became increasingly aware of the need by the Army for more effective airborne equipment. The ability of the PA-36 autogyro to perform the jump takeoff was considered to be a major advancement for military operations. Following the PA-36, Pitcairn designed and built the PA-39 for the British Air Commission. The plane had the ability to land and take off from the decks of seagoing vessels, nearly 3 years before the helicopter could achieve the same success. This capability offered tremendous potential in anti-submarine operations to protect our naval convoys from enemy submarines. Prior to Pearl Harbor, the Army expressed an interest in the pusher-type autogyro as an observation craft. As a result, they placed an order for 7 XO-61 autogyros with the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, a Pitcairn licensee. As the United States entered the war, the military revised its decision and specified a vertical lift aircraft with the ability to hover or hold a stationary vertical position. Igor Sikorsky's experimental helicopter, the VS-300, showed promise of meeting these revised specifications. But because it was both cumbersome and impractical, Sikorsky was advised by the military to become a licensee of Pitcairn's Autogyro Company of America. Under the agreement, Sikorsky utilized Pitcairn's patents, which permitted control of the aircraft through the main lifting rotor, and in 1943 produced the first practical helicopter designated the XR-4. Its powered rotor utilized the Autogyro's control system, including its unique auto-rotational ability in case of engine failure. Thus, the Sikorsky XR-4 helicopter was capable of performing maneuvers that were standard with the Autogyro several years before. Technical advantages of the XR-4 were its ability for controlled hovering and its capability to fly backwards. In 1942, Harold Pitcairn, for patriotic reasons, sold his Willow Grove field to the United States government for 1/3 of its actual value. The field was renamed the Willow Grove Naval Air Station. An airfield that at one time contained 2 small hangars and a modest factory has become a complex military air base with huge hangars and repair facilities. Its mile-long runways can accommodate aircraft large enough to transport 6 former Pitcairn Autogyros. The base serves as a support facility for the aircraft of several branches of the armed forces, including the military helicopter, a mighty weapon that owes its existence to Harold F. Pitcairn. In countless activities throughout the world, the modern helicopter is performing outstanding service, both for the military establishment and the civilian sector. While the Autogyro, which was capable of performing many of the helicopter's maneuvers more than 40 years before the introduction of the practical helicopter, seems all but forgotten. But it was the ingenuity and inventiveness of Harold Pitcairn in the research and development of rotary-winged flight that helped make it possible for today's helicopter to achieve its remarkable success. However, the development of the modern helicopter and the more than 200 patents assigned to Pitcairn failed to produce any income for him from royalty payments because of bureaucratic ineptness by government officials. Thus, Harold Pitcairn was forced to sue the United States government for infringement upon his patent rights. In typical bureaucratic arrogance, Pitcairn was told to go ahead and sue. You'll run out of money before we do. Thus began a precedent-setting legal action in both the U.S. Court of Claims and the United States Supreme Court that spanned 28 years and resulted in a $31 million award to Pitcairn's Autogyro Company of America. Harold F. Pitcairn did not live to enjoy his victory over the government, but, true to his character, he prevailed against monumental odds.